Yes, on the surface, I'm a voiceover actor performer, and all the things that come along with that. For example, the voice to me has always been a challenge, because when I started off, I really considered myself a guitar player, a writer, a performer, all of those things before I was a singer. I go on the road and I perform with a lot of different people, and you run into these people who are like, I've been singing with my family 9-part harmony since I was 6 months old, and it's so intimidating. And it's interesting to see that, and I always consider myself someone who was coming from a few angles. So the voice thing to me, and making my living as a voice and being an identifiable voice, has been a long building process for me, as I'm sure it has been for every person in this room. Especially trying to distinguish myself, and I feel like it's really only something that started to come into focus for me in the last 2 to 3 years. It's when I started thinking about characters, really, and I know that you guys know that. You know, when you're given an assignment, perhaps you're doing a voiceover for an ad, you're trying to maybe get in the head of who this would be or what it would be, and it transforms you and takes you to a different place, right? So as soon as I started putting myself into characters and not just being like Todd Carey, writing about my own experiences, as soon as I started writing songs and trying to like maybe become like even if I'm like, I want to sound like Billy Joel for a song, that really helps me in a way, and then it circles back around, and when I listen back to the recording, it somehow makes it more me. I'm able to like let go of whatever weirdness I have. So for me, that's almost number one, is being an identifiable voice. And that is something that to me has really come into focus just over the last 3 years. I feel like it's something that I have a lifetime of work ahead of me to keep like honing and refining. As far as like catering to my strengths, I think is really important. Learning what I couldn't do. You know, I knew I was never going to be like trying to think of like the biggest power singer on earth, a Freddie Mercury or like a Meatloaf. Yeah, right. Wow. Yeah, I know. I don't know why Meatloaf just came to mind. Exactly, right? Meatloaf. So I'm a fan of music, and I love hearing people who can really sing. And once I realized that my voice sit in a certain place, I started to write for that. I started to look for material that catered to my strengths, and I'm sure as voiceover, you don't always have that choice when you're given an assignment, but you know, we excel. And I know, like, for example, successful actors get pigeonholed into one thing they're really great at, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that's your wheelhouse. Maybe an advertiser or an employer will think, oh man, that guy is really great at that voice, and that'll continue to work for you. You obviously want to try and expand beyond that, but for me, just the basics of finding what I'm good at has been a quest. It's been a long process. So as far as the voice side of it, that's essentially kind of my career path. But to me, it's been so much more than that. As far as like performing, writing, there's so many elements to my job that propel me and kind of make me do what I do. For example, I don't know how much you guys are into like social media and that side of it. I know we've connected with some people here before. That's been a really big thing for me recently. Are you guys interested in that line of discussion at all?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. I'm kind of curious as to like how that crosses over into like the voiceover profession. Does anyone have any examples? Or?
Well, honestly, like I just launched my Facebook page like a week ago,
cool.
2 weeks ago. So and my website. Kind of like I was recommended by Sunday, who spoke to us a little bit before lunch, that it was really important to try and remember to like sell yourself, pretty much, your product, and you need to get out there and you need to make sure that everyone can access you and find you. And we all know, as much as we may not personally enjoy social media, whoever you are, doesn't matter. It is necessary. It's not almost, it is necessary at this point, because that's how you can get out there. And again, like, I may only have, I sent it to a couple friends, they have like 100 likes right now, but my website sent me an email saying, you know, you had 500 or 300, you know, people who viewed your website last week. I was like, well, that was obviously because someone had funneled and seen it in any way. I had no idea. I had nothing to do with those people. So that's where I have to add to what you're saying, because I found like it's so important.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to hear. I mean, when I it's funny, I was dragged kicking and screaming into the social media world. Like literally, it was the last thing I wanted to do. And I would say this was around 2007 when I came out with my first album. I had a business partner who was like, okay, he's like, your records aren't selling. He goes, traditional advertising isn't working, and this is when I was just starting to go, there's this new thing, and I have to give credit to this guy he was an older guy and he just saw the whole thing coming. At the time it was MySpace, which is like so archaic, right? It's pretty funny. And there was this kind of myth at the time that like cool musicians didn't engage. You didn't lift the veil. You know what I'm saying? You were behind the curtain and you made your art and you didn't interact with the public. You know? But he suggested that I do otherwise, and now I'm just going into completely personal experience, my journey along social media, and suggested that I take a look at it and essentially delve full on into it. And that's what I did. Around 2007, I took a portion of every day and decided to dedicate it to social media. And on the surface, that's what it is. You could call it like a job. But I'm a really incredibly social person. I like people and I like interacting with people. So as soon as I realized that this wasn't like the portion of my day where I'm working, it's the portion of my day where I'm like interacting with people, it became something that was much bigger to me than the part of my day that's spent social media working. I began to like connect with people. I began to develop an audience around the country, and it really gave birth to what I do. I wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't spend that time and didn't like meet and connect with people. There are people here today who have known me for years because of it. So yeah, I mean, you brought up Facebook, you brought up marketing yourself, and I think number one, you know, viewing yourself as a product is like it's weird to say, but as soon as you kind of just get past that, for me, as soon as I got past that, things started to open up a little bit, and like Facebook was I think one of the first really big. I think it was the first social media unifier. Musicians embraced MySpace, but Facebook is the one that everyone's kid and their grandmother is on. And so it's a really good unifier. I think it's pretty common ground. You just started your Facebook page. Do other people here have any experiences with social media they'd like to share?
I guess I'll go. So I actually was on Facebook for a huge while, but I completely obliterated my Facebook page. I obliterated my Twitter account, because I just reached a point where it's just really, to me, it was really poisonous. And this is before I even considered going to voice acting. I was just like, no, like, that's it, I'm done. I hate seeing the friends that I have getting in arguments with each other. Like, it's stupid. And all I wanted to do was just post cat videos. No one wants to watch them. This just started to piss me off. And so, yeah. So I rage quit.
I hear that. I totally hear that. I think you're making a really good point. That I think you have to almost, in doing what we do, make a distinction between you and your social media. At least for me, I had to do that. I had to like disconnect myself and again, almost brand myself, make myself the person that I am on social media, and then kind of have my own life, you know.
Yes.
And I do remember I took a month off when I first signed with my manager. He was like, "You post too much. You gotta stop and like take a break on social media." And so I took a break for a month, and it was amazing. My head was like the clearest it's ever been. It was amazing. So I totally get where you're coming from. And I think after that month break that I took, I was able to come back and really separate it in my brain as a marketing side of myself, and not be like, this is where I go to like see what's actually happening with my friends. You know what I'm saying? At least that's my personal experience. I don't think a lot of people treat it that way, which is why social media is so damn effective. Because people really do tie their personal lives into it. And I'm not saying that I'm like bullshit on social media. I think that it's important to like have some sort of separation, especially if we're treating it professionally. You know, you opened your professional Facebook page, it sounds like. Or was it your personal?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I have a Facebook profile with
Right.
you know, my name, but now I have Fraser WD. You know, it's like my Fraser Williams, my Facebook page. You can like it. He's an actor / director, whatever.
That's cool.
And like it's a public figure, not like I invite people to be friends with me on Facebook, right? So
Right.
like you're saying, separating the two is like literally branding yourself.
That's one really great way to approach it. You know, that's a really good point though, and I totally get it. It makes a lot of sense to me. I think there is a danger in getting swallowed up personally in social media. Does anyone else have any experiences?
Yeah, with LinkedIn.
Yes.
Because you can get a lot of help. So I'm new to the business,
Yes.
so I've learned a lot just from going into my different groups and listening to what people are asking, getting their information, and then also getting feedback for my own stuff, and then connecting with Fox producer in
Right.
LA, and he viewed my profile, and so, just because he heard of something I said, and it just, sparked something.
Isn't
So
it incredible?
it's
I
wonderful.
find that to be incredible.
Yeah, you can make connections all over the world.
Yeah, and this is something that's literally happened in the last 4 years right in front of us. LinkedIn is a really interesting social network to bring up. As a musician, I'm on it. It's not my main thing, but my father's an attorney. He prides himself on he's a baby boomer on the tail end of the baby boomer side, older, but he's always prided himself on staying up on everything. And so he has shared with me that he feels that LinkedIn is incredible for context, and he's been an attorney for half a century. But when I do delve into LinkedIn, it seems like an endless world. Every professional person's on it, from the musician to the highest exec at Sony, and these people are right here for us. What you do with that information is obviously your choice, but I find LinkedIn to be fascinating. Do you guys use LinkedIn?